Welcome back to Let's Not, and welcome back to part 2 of What If Among Us characters were Pokemon. Alright, so if you guys don't remember from part 1, basically what the point of this little, I guess, two-part mini-series is to go through and decide, well, if Among Us colors were Pokemon, based on the way that those players play and the colors, what Pokemon would they be, right? Like, so what Pokemon makes the most sense for that color? So without further ado, let's cover the 6 additional colors that we didn't cover in part 1. Alright, so first off, why not start with, everybody's favorite, Cyan. So Cyan players, they are players that I don't play too much with, but whenever I've played with Cyan colors, I've found them to be a lot like Squirtle, right? So they don't really stand out. They're not the number one picked Pokemon, right? They're no Charmander, they're no Pikachu, and they can be a little reserved, right? Just like Squirtle, right? Like a turtle, right? They can come back into their shell, and they're not always the most confident players, but that doesn't mean they're dumb. It doesn't mean they're bad. They're typically really good players at the game. It's just they're not going to be the ones to start accusations. They're not going to be the ones to be aggressive. They're kind of just going to play the game with the way the game's played, right? They're gonna go with the flow, and they're gonna kind of be withdrawn. They're still gonna vote correctly. They're gonna vote with the crowd because they know what's going on in the game. They just don't really want to speak up for themselves, if that makes sense. So that's Cyan, and I feel like Squirtle is the best to represent that. All right, jumping right into number 2, we have green. So dark green is best represented, in my opinion, by a Scyther, because these guys are monsters. They're super aggressive, and with a lot of the other dark colors, they're typically picked by players who want to be really cool, really aggressive, and really shady, right? So Scyther represents that perfectly. I mean, look at the guy. His hands are scythes. Like, come on. Are you kidding me? Yeah, you're just asking for it at this point. So I feel like Scyther's a good one because you can't ever turn your back on a dark green player, or the next thing you know, they'll be cutting you up. So again, for dark green players, they're going to be pretty shady players. They're going to be fast, and they're always going to be there, and you're never going to know how until that moment where they stab you in the back. So hopefully you guys can relate to that if you're a dark green player. But yeah. Overall, Scyther is my pick for dark green. Moving right along into dark blue, who better than Poliwag? And okay, I get it. There's a lot of cooler Pokemon, even in Gen 1, than Poliwag to represent dark blue, right? We got Gyarados, we got Lapras, all these other cool things. But no. I mean, you ever play with a dark blue player? They try and confuse everything, right? There's a reason Poliwag has the spiral on its stomach, right? They confuse everything. They even confuse themselves. Like, I'm convinced that dark blue players never really know what's going on, but they're always trying to convince everybody that they do. And really, we're on to you, dark blue. We're on to you. We know. We know that you really have no idea what's going on this whole time, and we'll catch you, and we will throw you off the ship. And chances are you won't even be the imposter because you're dark blue and you have no idea what's going on. But in general, if you've got no idea, we've got no idea. So don't get confused. Don't fall into the lull of dark blue, and you'll be good to go, guys. You'll be good to go. Next, and let me start by apologizing for how horrific this drawing came out. Brown. So for brown, we have none other than Diglett. And Diglett is the perfect Pokemon to represent brown. If you're a brown player and a Diglett, you love to vent, and you are in the vents all the time. So I've never met a brown player who was not hopping in and out of vents constantly. Maybe that's just the groups that I play with in my friend groups, but if you're a Diglett, chances are you love sneaking up on people, and you're always going to surprise somebody by being somewhere you're not supposed to be because you're super sus and you're brown and you're a Diglett. And yes, so this is overall my thoughts on brown players. I know that not every brown player is sus, right? There are times where you're a crewmate too, but chances are you're still trying to vent, even if you're a crewmate. That's because you're a Diglett. So if you're the type of player who runs over a vent as a crewmate, you're probably playing brown. Okay, so that covers brown. And then finally, probably the second most sus color in Among Us, black. So black players are their own special breed. They think they're edgy, they think they're cool, they think they're dangerous, they think that they're just as sus as red, even though they're not. But honestly, black is a Snorlax. So black is like red, minus all the aggression, but with all this sus, right? So what better Pokemon than Snorlax? They're always last to the party. They never report the bodies. They always show up late. They always don't. I mean, a lot of times they don't even remember where they were at when things were going on. So if you've got no idea what's going on, it's probably because you're a black player, and it's probably because you're sleeping in the corners of Snorlax. I mean, part 2 can really just be summed up as all the colors that kind of just don't know what's going on. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm sorry, Squirtle. I'm sorry, Cyan. You didn't deserve that. But in general, black players, again, they're a little bit sleepy. They're kind of like the Lime players, like the Metapods from part 1. But overall, if you're a black player, you're a strong player. You just gotta wake up and play. That's all it takes. And if you do wake up, chances are it's because you're really mad and you're really aggressive. So black players, don't make them angry because, you know, nobody wants to poke the Snorlax. And then finally, last but not least, orange. So what better Pokemon to represent orange than Charmander? Yes, I know I used Charmeleon to represent red, and there's a very specific reason that I'm using Charmander here to represent orange. Because orange players are Charmanders. They think they're Charmeleons, they want to be Charmeleons, they want to grow up to be a Charizard, but they just don't have that confidence. Orange players, like, they're always going to be a little bit more reserved. Red's just too aggressive of a color for them. Yellow's just too flashy of a color for them. So they can't be those players. So orange players are always just going to be kind of doing their own thing. They're going to be right there behind you. They're going to back you up. They're going to be ready to go. Unless things get really bad, then they're going to run away. Because when it comes down to it, orange players, they really want to be red players, but they just can't. They're just not angry enough. They're not confident enough. They're not aggressive enough. So orange players, we love you. You're one of my favorite colors to have in the game with me because you're always going to be there to back me up, even if I'm the imposter. And you're never going to start your own fires. You'll just fan the ones that are already out there. So shout out to all the orange players out there for being there for everybody else in the game. And yeah, I mean, you get Charmander to represent you. There are many worse Pokemon that it could have been. So, all right, guys, that's part 2. Again, I hope you guys liked this little mini series, this little 2-part series that we did here. And let me know if you guys really like this kind of style of designing different things after the Among Us characters and the color stereotypes. Let me know. I could potentially do some different things with that. So if you guys like this content and you guys want to see more of it, please remember to leave a like on the video. And if you guys want to see more from me, please subscribe. All right, guys, I'm LetsNot, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks, everybody.